All right, what's up, y'all? I saw this news just this morning and I was like, I have to hop on here real quick to talk to my girls, to talk to y'all about this. Now, the showrunner for Wheel of Time, Rafe Judkins, this morning put up on his Instagram a bunch of paragraphs talking about the cancellation, just reacting to the news that happened over the past week. Like, let's get into it. Way back in 2018, I put out the first book in my Xeraxia series called Xeraxia, Wrath of the God King. Now I'm so excited to let you all know that the sequel to that book, Xeraxia, The Vengeance of Coldwind, is out now. Anywhere you get your ebooks and audiobooks, you can find it there. I'm talking about Amazon, Audible, audiobooks.com, Google Play, it's all there. Also, you can go to www.xeraxia.com to purchase it directly from my site. Check out my series, check out the first book, and make sure you get the second book because it's out now. I'm so excited. All right. I'm not gonna waste your time. We're gonna read what he said, and then we will discuss it, or we'll discuss it as you know how we do it over here. So he said, I've been asked the same question many times the last week. Why was the Wheel of Time canceled? And the truth is, I don't know. I wish I could say something clear and tidy that explains to all those who love it why it's coming to an end, but sadly, I can't. And real quick, I've been through this already in my other video discussing the actual cancellation, like when it actually happened. But come on now, no shade at all, but we know why it was canceled. Absolutely no shade. We can blame whoever we want. We can blame audience. We can blame the plot, what y'all did. We can blame the advertising that Amazon did, the marketing, whatever. I said in my video, check my description, but I said in my previous video, it's like, y'all had to choose an audience. Did you want to cater to market to the white men, really, that were interested in the book, books in the first place? Like, is that what you wanted to do? If not, and you're trying to go for these other groups, can you at least keep them alive? Can you at least, especially if they're alive in the books, can you at least flesh out their characters? Like I always point to this example, how Child Valda was not humanized in the same way that Leandrin was, for example. Neither was Panafane. Like, you could go down the list. But it's just like, I feel like they did not really figure out who exactly it is that they wanted to cater to. Do you want to cater to the book cloaks, the what, like, or not? And that you just can't straddle the line. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. And then Amazon, y'all cannot advertise a show with a woman at the front, Asian men, brown girls. Like, you cannot advertise that show in the same way that you would a show that's an all-white cast. Like, you just can't. And they probably did. And they're like, girl, we ain't gonna put any more effort into this than we have to. And on top of that, the way that this show was renewed was weird, because I think entire seasons were being renewed before, the second season was out. I forget how it worked specifically, but they were like renewing seasons before they even got the data from the previous season because of how the first season did. They're like, oh, well, we could just keep renewing. And it's just like, there were so many factors that I think contributed to this mess. But I would say if it was still profitable for Amazon in the way that they're doing it, and we can critique the way that they're doing it, like I said, but if it was still profitable, they would still be making it. And so for Rafe to say he doesn't know why it's coming to an end, it's because it did not, with the formula that Amazon has. And like I said, we can really get into that formula and critique it, but with the formula that Amazon had, it wasn't making the money. If something making the money, they're gonna keep making it. So Rafe saying he don't know why it's coming to an end, I'm like, I don't know, girl. But he goes on to say, what I can say is that the actors and crew on our show are the most talented and wonderful group of people I've ever had the pleasure to work with. And we've all been incredibly lucky to make something that not only was beloved by fans and even critics, but was also watched by huge numbers of people all over the world, appearing in the Nielsen Top 10 for nearly 20 weeks, a feat very few shows have been able to match in the last decade. One of my core goals in making this show, even from the earliest crafting of the pitch, has been to tell the whole story. Because the Wheel of Time books do what television has always done best, get better as they go. And as our actors and team came on board, they too could see the potential if we were allowed to finish this incredible story. We made many sacrifices, both personal and creative, along the way to get to that ending, so coming up short feels like a devastating blow for all of us. Much has been written about this larger trend in TV toward fewer seasons with less episodes and finding quicker ways to acquire additional streaming subscribers. But I genuinely believe that this goes against the fundamental strength of television, long-form storytelling. It is an art form much like epic fantasy, which at its very best gives people a place to go and spend time with the characters that they love year after year after year. And I believe there are executives, studios, and networks who know that. I believe that we will find our way through this current iteration of the industry and get back to what we do best, bringing great characters into people's living rooms and lives every week. Will the Wheel of Time get to do that with another network and finish the story? Sadly, it's not something that happens often, but it does happen. In fact, one of the reasons we first chose Amazon as a home for the show was because they were in the midst of picking up The Expanse after Sci-Fi canceled it. So who knows? Perhaps the Wheel of Time show will do what the books have always managed to do since day one, defy the traditional definitions of beginnings and ends. I certainly hope it does, because this book series and these fans deserve to see the story finished. So there's so many things that we could discuss here, but one thing I will say is that I really liked how Rafe focused in on the industry as a whole, because I think, like, no matter what, we can all agree with the fact that, like, girl, 8 episodes a season, girl. 8 episodes a season, girl. My partner was watching, like, old Star Trek, and they were talking about, like, the shows had, like, 20, 30 episodes a season or something like that. I could be exaggerating, but, like, seasons were longer in the past, at least, on TV. But, like, you got these people squeezing 8 episodes into one season, across the board, trying to get people who, trying to get customers to remain subscribers while y'all got 8 episode seasons. Y'all splitting up 8 episode seasons, 10 episode season across one entire year. Part 1 comes out this month and part 2 comes out, trying to keep subscribers instead of just making a long form story for real and then having the subscribers stay because they're gonna need to watch the long story. It's just a mess. So I really do like that Rafe focused in on how crazy the industry is, especially for, like, fantasy, because, I mean, CG, it's an investment. Like, it's an investment, especially with epic fantasy. You're taking us to a completely different world. We just need more than 10 episodes, y'all. We need more than 8 episodes, y'all, just across the board, across the industry. So I like that Ray focused on that. Everything that I'm seeing, however, is just saying that it's really unlikely that something like this can happen. Y'all doing petitions. People are, I saw somebody raising GoFundMe money to post ads or billboards somewhere. I'm like, please don't pay these people, y'all. Like, if Amazon had ad money and the show still flopped, like, what make y'all think the couple $1,000 we gonna scrounge up and to put a billboard here and there for a show that's already canceled? You see what I'm saying? Save real time. Like, I get it, but I just think it's very highly unlikely. I think that also we have to remember, all right, like, are these actors gonna still be available? They gotta eat, they gotta work. They're all right, girl. Like, I'm on to the next project, so that means people gonna be recast. No doubt, people are gonna be recast. Is the CGI gonna be the same? And then, like I said, I think the biggest problem was y'all got to decide who y'all want the audience to be, girl. Because some of these, maybe y'all should have made a show for the book clubs, like, at this point. Because if you're not gonna do the other thing well, and completely change the way you advertise the show. Like I said before, Amazon, there's no way they should have been marketing a show with Rosamund Pike, like I said, brown girls, Avienda in the what you call it, in the promo. You got Asian man land over here. Like, you cannot advertise to the same channels that you do with an all-white cast. You just get all-white male cast. You can't do that, because then the ads gonna pop up on the phones, on the screens of the people who are just like, girl, I don't want to see no brown girl on my screen. I don't want to see no Asian man on my, like that. Y'all have to get real. You have to get real. And so don't advertise this show like it's lily white. And like, it's just a cookie cutter advertising marketing plan, instead of, well, hey, like, if we claim we about diversity, let's make sure that we're pumping these ads, we're pumping this stuff into the phones, onto the TV screens of the demographic that we need to reach for. But like, I don't know. I hope I'm explaining myself right, but I'm just like, I think if y'all weren't going to do a white male centered show that was going to appease the book cloaks, then you needed to go on the complete other direction and make sure that you're casting these these diversity people in roles that are fleshed out, in roles that you're not just gonna chop to keep Rosamund's check, Rosamund's Pike check. You see what I'm saying? If you gonna do it, then do it. That's what I'm saying. But also, I want us to remain realistic about this. Like, y'all, we were doing all type of petitions, all type of stuff, and Amazon still was crunching the numbers and still canceled it after y'all was doing that petition. Y'all giving money to people GoFundMe so they can buy ads that say Save Wheel of Time and put them on Broadway or something on a billboard for 5 seconds. Y'all trying to buy ads for a show that's off when Amazon that's canceled, when Amazon had more money than empires, and they bought billboards and ads and they bought all type of stuff, and it still got canceled. So it's just like, I want us to remain realistic. Like, it's probably not gonna happen what people want, but I think if it's not, what we can take from this is that I don't know how we can put pressure on people as consumers. I mean, consumers have all the power, but still, like, the industry as a whole needs to change, girl. Ain't no way we can, like, really get lost in an epic fantasy when there's 8 episodes in the season. When the only thing that some of these executives want is just to keep subscribers and not tell a long story, which will inevitably keep your subscribers, girl. Like, you see what I'm saying? So I think if it's not gonna happen, if this show's not gonna be picked up by another network, we should definitely think about, as consumers, how we can try and put pressure on the industry to change, and in the meantime, you want some creative black fantasy, get into N.K. Jemisin, black woman sci-fi fantasy writer, Octavia Butler, like, get into those authors, support my book, my series, Xeraxia, Wrath of the God King, the first book, and The Vengeance of Coldwind, the second book. Get into it. And like I said, as consumers, we can think about how we want to change this industry, girl. Because 8 episodes, 6 episodes, I seen Disney Plus show for 6 episodes a season. I say, girl, get me out of here. But yeah, on that note, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all later. See ya.